I'm a pretty bad kid.
And they gifted Nathan in the Stone. Yeah, that's ref the district. Come on now and join us.
Let's go.
And they gifted.
We are
Nathan in the Stoner. Yeah, that's ref the district.
That's the podcast.
Come on now and join us.
You join in. Yeah, let's talk about the bigger picture. Let's talk about how we be ballin', playing with the Wizards. Let's talk about the Nats and how they always got good pictures. Let's talk about the cats on rescue, turn them boys to winners.
Injuries and updates, oh yeah.
To the opponent, we stand toe to toe, yeah.
To the top, this podcast gonna go, yeah.
I think it's something you should know, yeah.
And they good with them off-season stats, that's a fact. And they can give you the season recap, yeah. You know that's for a fact,
yeah it is. And you know we got our team on our back,
we to us no other team can measure. Cause our team is way better.
We the best one.
Never be under the weather. W with the best leather.
Oh, it's the best one.
Hey, we love Washington. And we some die-hard fans.
Yeah, we are.
And you know we keep it on 10. Let's talk about the offense.
1, 2, 3, let's go.
And they gifted.
We are
Nathan and the Stoner. Yeah, that's ref the district.
That's the podcast.
Come on now and join us.
You join in.
I'm a pretty bad kid.
Greetings and salutations. I hope you can hear me just fine because, man, are we having a lot of fun behind the scenes here with Ref the District crew. I'm Nathan Perry. He's the Stoner. And yes, we got Trevor again with us. This is Day After Reckoning. It's our new episodes that we're going to be bringing out through the Washington football season where we go over the game the day before. And I really think that's about all we need to know about that, guys. How are you guys doing? I'm assuming you can hear me just fine?
Yeah, we can hear you, but it's the day after, not the day before.
Yeah,
Well, you said the day before.
We're going over the game the day before.
Oh,
the show's called The Day After Reckoning. We're going over the show the day before. I know that might be confusing. It's not nearly as confusing as the fact that I'm hearing double audio. So if any of our audience members are experiencing that, or wonder why I looked confused for the majority of this episode, just know that is what's happening behind the scenes. You guys watch the game?
Of course.
Did we watch the game? Come on.
What game?
Okay.
Yeah,
let me ask you this then, Stoner. Come on. Stoner, were you really watching the third and fourth quarter?
I did. I watched the third and fourth quarter, even though when we were talking about earlier whether or not I watched the third and fourth quarter, that was the second time. So I watched it again today, the second time, but I didn't watch the second half because I don't have a lot of interest in seeing the backups play, the third and fourth stringers. I know that might tick off Mr. President Jason Wright, but everybody feels the same way. Nobody's brave enough to say it since he came out with his attack on Mike Florio. But it's true. Nobody wants to watch a bunch of skells. The coaches do. It's important. I don't want to watch it.
I enjoyed it, but that's only because you do sometimes see those district diamonds come through at that point in time. And we got to see a lot of guys. I had some vested interest, obviously, because while we're not going to get to the dollar recap until later, I do still have that dollar riding on Samus Reyes, which after today's pressers, I'm feeling a little bit better about.
We gotta stop with that. Are you kidding, Trevor? Are you on the Samus Reyes train, hype train?
Nah, I'll keep him on the practice squad and develop him, but he's not going to make the 53. I'm sorry.
I don't know. I can tell you who's not going to be on the 53, and that's Hemingway.
Oh, for sure. Get him out of there.
Stop. We gotta stop with these.
First cuts are August 17th.
What has he done during? He has not been talked about at all, really. Okay, I will say this. He did, early on, Ron Rivera through the early camps, Hemingway kept being brought up pretty consistently, and then that was dropped off considerably.
Oh my God.
The way the camp had gone on. And nobody's going to be talking about him come 3 weeks from now because he won't be on the team to talk about.
He's not making it that first cut.
I'll take it.
You'll take it?
You think Hemingway's going to be on the 53?
Yes, sir, I do.
No, he's not.
I will take that. Trevor, you taking that?
Yeah, he's not.
Yeah, of course we're going to take that.
Listen,
he won't make the 85, which happens on Tuesday. He won't even make the 85.
Oh, I'll bet that.
I won't take that one. I won't take that one. But he won't be on the 53. He won't be on the 53. Ricky Seals-Jones is better.
Way better.
And?
So
you've got Logan.
John Bates and Ricky Seals-Jones. Tight end room is set.
Okay, maybe.
No.
What do you mean maybe? They're not keeping a fourth tight end.
Here.
No, it's not going to be Hemingway.
Let me teach you young kids a little lesson here. Sit back and enjoy this little talking to that you're about to have. Making declarative statements based on one game is foolish because you have no idea what happens every day in practice. You have no idea what happens in the film room.
Trevor's like, I need to talk, please. He's raising his hand.
Wait.
We're in grade school.
You don't know what goes on in the weight room. You don't know how coachable he is. You don't know his attitude. You don't know what's going on outside. You have no idea what goes on day to day.
Hit us, Trevor. He's repeating himself. Hit us, Trevor.
You might not be a part of this train, but that's the exact Heineke train that you're talking about. One game, they based it off one performance, the Tampa Bay, and you're like, QB1. No. Hemingway. Right. Samus Reyes had a better preseason game than Tamarick Hemingway last night.
Okay.
Yes, he did.
So
But there's no way. If Samus Reyes is not making the 53, there's for damn sure Hemingway is not making the 53.
that's insane to base your opinion on a guy whether he's going to make a roster on one game, on a half of a game.
He played
But here's the thing. Here's the difference between the two, right, guys? Samus Reyes is a rookie who's never played football before. He has unlimited potential to the coaches, right? Hemingway isn't a rookie.
Okay.
Thank you.
Can I ask you guys something? Who did Hemingway play with last year?
Exactly.
I'm asking you.
Reyes, we don't know.
You don't know? Do you know, Nathan? Who did he play for last year?
I can't remember. Was
Look
he
it
one
up.
of the? Was he one of the Browns?
I know.
Was he on the Browns? The
Samus
Denver?
Reyes.
Where was he?
Listen, he
he on a
played
practice squad
for
somewhere?
the Washington football team. He was a
Okay.
member of this team
Was he?
last year. Now
Was
he
he
was
there?
on
I don't remember him.
not the original 53, but look at him at the end of the year. He was on this team. He was invited back to camp. He got a contract. He's been in camp this whole time, and you guys are
And he's
blowing him
leaving.
off after half of a game. That's ridiculous.
He missed blocks. He played almost
did.
the entire game.
He was
missed blocks,
terrible.
dropped pass. He was terrible.
Let's just point out here, Stoner said he was on the team last year, and they retained him. But what else did they do, Stoner, in this offseason besides retain Hemingway? What else did they do? They went out and they drafted a tight end. They picked one up who is a rookie. They signed another person. Hemingway is gone.
But
Gone.
But what I'm saying is they believe in him enough that they brought him back, that he was on the team, that they brought him back, and he's been in camp
Right.
this whole time.
They believed
right.
in him
And
so
now-
much, they signed 5 more guys to compete with him.
Okay?
And now after yesterday's game, he's gone by Tuesday.
All right. That one I will take, Trevor. I will take
He's
that
gone
Tuesday.
Tuesday.
He is not. The guys that are going to be gone are guys you've never heard of. That's who's going to be gone.
Jazzy is in our chat right now. She's got some of her no-goes. We're going to get to our go-goes and no-goes here in a little bit. So again, this is our day after reckoning, and we're going to be talking a lot more. We got some presser footage, courtesy of the Washington football team, that we're going to be sharing with. But I just wanted to hit up the fact that we do stream this live on our YouTube channel. We will be putting this up with our normal podcasts. It's just going to be considered bonus material for you to listen to. So now that that's out of the way,
All right.
let's go ahead. Now we're going to talk more about the game, specifically the QB play.
Okay.
Now, Ryan Fitzpatrick, only a couple series, had that really great pass to our boy here, McLaurin. There was the Logan Thomas catch, which he secured. So that thankfully, teaser alert, and our Dalla. Jazzy's out.
Jazzy owes
and
people some money.
I'll take that, please. Thank you.
so, but what about Montez? Montez is rough, so we're not going to really talk about him because we hope to never have to see him in actual game day situation.
We got to cut that man a little bit of a break now. Just a little bit.
What are we doing here? You won't cut Hemingway a break, but you'll cut
No.
Montez a break?
Yeah, this is like his first.
My favorite thing about Montez currently is the
it.
fact that Fitzpatrick was working with him after training camp.
Okay,
that was my favorite
exactly.
thing about Montez.
How long?
And that
has he been with
his
them?
last name is Sweat's first name. So that's about the only thing that
How
needs to
long
be
has he been with
that
them?
needs to be a before and after on Wheel of Fortune.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
Stephen Montez Sweat.
Even blank sweat.
Okay, this is his first time of seeing real live game action since he's been with us.
Yes. He was
Okay. He didn't have a preseason last year, right? Right. We only saw him in camp. He almost came in the Tampa game, which I was.
right.
That was so. And this is his first real live action.
Mhm.
He threw a touchdown. He was efficient. He led a 2-minute drive down. Don't roll your eyes, Nathan. It happened.
Did he?
I mean,
Did he throw a touchdown? This was just yesterday, but
Lamar Miller. He threw one in the back of the end zone. He threw a touchdown. Stephen Montez.
Lamar Miller ran it. No, I can't even remember.
As a part
That's
of
because you didn't really watch the third and the fourth quarter. You've admitted that.
so he threw it.
Jason Wright is getting into your DMs right now, and he's
Sorry,
going to be like, "Listen, Stoner."
I think we keep Stephen Montez, practice squad, develop him. Let him do it.
Oh, he's
Nah.
still going to stick with the team, and that's largely because they don't have anybody else, and Kyle Allen's going to end up an injured reserve.
Too bad. When he first got in, he was very hesitant on his throws, kind of maybe ate a sack, chose to run.
Once he got warmed up, he was okay. But we're really not going to talk about him. I want to talk about Heineke because that's where really the fire is at, right? Fitzpatrick, to me, solidified starter status.
For sure.
There was nothing Heineke did in last night's game that got anywhere near competing status.
Of course. And nobody should ever
won since he's signed a dot.
Yeah, of course. Of course he is. And anybody who thinks otherwise is ridiculous. Anybody thinks there's an open competition. There's not. It's Fitzpatrick's job. So everybody else can just zip it.
Zip it.
All right. Well, I'm going to ask you two to zip it because we're going to listen to Coach Rivera during the presser and see what he thought of Taylor Heineke.
Taylor picked up right where he left off. The guy's a high dynamic energy type player, did a lot of good things, made some good decisions. And again, I like who he is as a football player for us right now.
All right. Picked up where he left off. He's good. He likes where he's at as a football player. He did the things that's asked of him. I don't think I was watching the same film. Now, granted, I don't watch, or not the same game. Granted, he watches a lot more film than I do, but he seemed a little bit more high on Heineke than we do.
Yeah, for sure. He picked up where he left off literally because he was thrown into the Tampa game, and now he's thrown into a preseason like he doesn't have a
and he lost.
And he lost. He might have had good numbers, but I didn't see anything that was like, oh, this might be a quarterback competition. I didn't see that at all.
No, I didn't. He didn't have any. I watched him again this morning or this afternoon, and he was throwing off his back foot. He was getting out of the pocket when he didn't need to. He did make a nice play on the run where he ran for a first down. That was
didn't
fine.
Have to though. He didn't have to.
No,
and
he
had open. They praised him. Joe Theismann praised him for making the decision and going for it. But if he would have just trailed out a little bit, he had an open receiver. Though I do want to say I want to go back and watch. And if it was Hemingway out there, I respect his decision to run.
It was. He threw. Remember he forced that deep ball to Hemingway because Hemingway's tall, so he threw a 50-50 ball to Hemingway, and it was like a 20-20 ball. Like it was.
Yeah, he threw a Fitz-like YOLO ball to Hemingway.
Yeah, it was.
He was robbed of a touchdown. There was that pass interference call that he didn't get.
Who was that?
Ricky Seals-Jones was the receiver.
Yeah, it's really hard to catch the ball when your one arm's being dragged away from you. So no call there. Rough call, by the way, for the refs at the end. I mean, it's preseason. Maybe they didn't get the memo that the game can end up in a tie because, AGG, Gandy Golden, was holding on to that ball for dear life. He took that ball all the way to the sidelines. He was so proud about that 2-point conversion, and then they waved it off. They're like, nah, he didn't catch it. Where? I didn't see that. They never showed a good view of him dropping it. I'm sure he did drop it, but it's just to me, which actually makes it even more hilarious that this man held on to the ball all the way to the sidelines. He was not giving it up.
Oh, that's cute.
Hey, do you think he'll take it home and put it up there in the 2-point conversion I didn't catch?
He better have given that ball to a fan when they took those points off the board. He better have been like, never mind. Here, kid, you can take this.
While we're on wide receivers real quick, Kelvin Harmon was like non-existent.
Yeah.
Was that just because he wasn't getting targets or he just wasn't getting playing time?
So he got playing time plenty with Montez, but he just wasn't getting targeted. And a lot of that has to do, I think, with Montez and the plays they called up. But he definitely was not there. So at least we're talking about Gandy Golden. Harmon, who's a fan favorite, fan darling, didn't really get to see some time. I thought he looked good at camp, camps that I've been able to watch, and you've heard some good things from it. But I think it's pretty telling, preseason game or not, if the coaches are putting you in with the third stringers and you're not getting targeted. Maybe that'll change.
Hopefully.
I do expect some things to change before next game. And we are actually going to go to a clip right now. This is Ron Rivera talking about rookies and their playing time.
Really like what we got from Sam. Sam needs to play, and that's the truth of the matter. And so does Jamin. So does Ben Juiced. I mean, that's why those guys played a little extended into the second quarter. Very pleased with what we saw from those guys. I thought when John Bates got his opportunity, I thought he did a nice job and did some really good things, as did Sam Reyes. I mean, there was a lot of positives, a lot of things that we're going to grow on and get better with.
Coach calling out my boy Reyes is one of the rookies that he praised. So were there any rookies that you guys were watching yesterday that you saw some glimpses, or maybe you didn't see what you wanted to see?
I'll go with when I went back and watched again, I watched every play that Sam Cosmi had. And Sam Cosmi was outstanding. I couldn't believe, because I saw all the talk. Cosmi was great, and Pro Football Focus gave him some really high grades and all that. And then I went back and watched every single play, and he was outstanding. He was good in the run game. He was good in the pass game. I'm not the kind of guy who's going to sit there and say, well, he got his hips low and he got his shoulders.
Right.
I don't get into all of that stuff. But all I do is I look at results, hence the name of our show, Ref the District, right? So I just look at what the results are. And his quarterback wasn't getting touched. No. And whenever he was run blocking, he was getting his guy out of the way. So I thought Cosmi was outstanding.
How about
I'm gonna go with deeper into the game. He had a little shine. Torrey McTyer, cornerback, number 35. He had a little blanket coverage going on out there. He was smothering his receivers a little bit. I think he has a chance. His stock definitely went up after that first game for sure. So
yeah, he's someone to watch out for. Absolutely, I think he probably ends up on the practice squad. But his name has been called quite a bit here the last few weeks, and we got to see some of that in game time action, and not just with the threes. He was in there a little bit with the twos as well, and he played fairly. He played well enough. He was being targeted, but he was doing his job. So hope to see continue seeing some good things from him. Since you guys praised two people, I'm going to give us somebody who did not do well, and I can bet you Trevor can guess who it is, because I think you had a tweet about Forrest. The one time you see him and he's chasing down the final touchdown, and he's being beat to all get out. Like he's not even getting close.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To be honest, I didn't even know really who he was when we drafted him. And his name hasn't been mentioned literally at all during camp, like not even really once. If that's a no-go for us, I'd say, I'm not going to allude to there, but that could be a no-go. I don't know if that's a good draft pick or not.
Wasn't he like a 5th or 6th rounder though anyway?
Yeah.
6th or 7th, wasn't he? He was a late rounder.
He was a late rounder anyway. I mean, they've had some good late round picks lately, so you kind of expect them all to work out. But normally a 6th rounder, you usually don't get anything out of them.
Nah.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. Probably practice squad bound. Safety is a deep position, and he ain't gonna be cutting it the way.
He's at the bottom looking.
Can I add another one?
Yeah, go ahead and add another
one. And he didn't necessarily have great stats or anything. But De'Ami Brown, if you go back and just watch him, he was murdering people out there. There are guys that could not touch him on just about every route. He was.
I'm glad you brought that up, because the next game I want to see those like receivers, De'Ami Brown, Milne, Harmon, AGG run with the 1s and 2s this time. Like, we don't need to see Scary Terry. We don't need to see him any more rest of the preseason. We really don't. So give some of these other receivers opportunity for the 1s, and De'Ami Brown, because he looked like he wasn't doing nothing because our quarterbacks couldn't give him the ball, but he was actually doing stuff, like you said, Stoner stuff. Yeah,
he was open all the time. Open. If the QBs were just paying attention. Now, granted, most of the time he was playing with Heineke,
and
that's where some of those issues were coming from. Right. But I guarantee you, in the season, this kid is going to be, I believe, I'm not going to put a dollar on it, but I believe in the end he'll be one of the people talked about for Offensive Rookie of the Year. I think he's going to have that type of season.
That's a little aggressive.
Nathan, that's totally aggressive.
Right.
Hey, I'm just putting it out there. I think one, he looks the part. He's already doing amazing things. And then two, Stoner, you called it last time. In our last show, you said you don't think Curtis Samuel's going to be playing a whole lot. And if Curtis Samuel's down, I think De'Ami Brown's the receiver who's going to be stepping up in that position. I'm not saying he's going to have a crazy good year, but I think he could get 30 to 35 touches for 600, 700 yards. Okay. And they'll be explosive yards, right? So I think that's where he's going to get some of the hype. And I think that would be acceptable for the team.
Okay. Who was the offensive rookie of the year last year? Do you remember who that was?
A QB. I didn't say he's going to win offensive rookie of the year. I said he was just being consideration.
Well, I mean, it was Herbert, I believe, right?
It was Herbert. What do you mean you believe? It's literally what week one is being pegged. Offensive rookie of the year versus defensive rookie of the year. I got my money on defensive rookie of the year, especially after what he did and his limited playing time. But go ahead, Stoner.
Okay, but my point is, I think the NFC offensive rookie of the year, because I think they do that, right? That was Justin Jefferson for Minnesota, and he had like 85 catches, 1,300 yards, whatever it was. De'Ami Brown's going to have that kind of year? No.
I didn't say he's having the offensive rookie of the year. I think that he's going to have a good enough year where he's in consideration. Now, they always consider like 10 guys. So I'm not saying this isn't like a Heisman finalist where I'm saying he's going to New York and he's going to be one of the 3 people that are there. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that people are going to look at his season, his offensive rookie year, and go, this dude is going to be something his sophomore year. Is that fair?
That's fair. So, for you, Stoner, while we're here on wide receivers again, your man Steven Sims Jr. last night. Mm-hmm. Is he making the 53 or not?
He still might. I would not rule him out. He was back there returning punts, too, and he did just fine.
No. He was back there fielding punts. He didn't really return.
He returned it.
He had the one return.
Give me DeAndre Carter. Give me DeAndre Carter all day.
Maybe.
I want to see Patterson. Coach said Patterson needs to get some reps back there fielding punts, and if that happens, I think you definitely lose DeAndre Carter. Carter looked good fielding the punts. Max Milne was Dax Milne rather. Dax Milne. He looked pretty decent fielding punts.
Yeah.
Steven Sims Jr. was there. He was there.
Right.
I really don't think he's going to end up making the team. If they're not going to use him for any kind of return duties, I don't think they're going to go with him over one of the other receivers. That's just my opinion. That at least there's some competition for. There's not any competition with the kicking, and this is what Coach had to say about the kicking.
We'll take a look at it. We'll define it even more, and really just kind of get that thing worked out. I mean, more so than anything else for the most part. No, there's not a concern. I think it's disappointing, but at the end of the day, we have a new operation that's got to continue to get worked out, and we've got two more preseason games to get it corrected.
Coach says not a concern. I'm concerned.
I'm extremely concerned. I've been concerned since London.
Oh yeah, when he missed that game tire.
Cincinnati, and he missed the field goal.
Yeah.
I mean,
he's not been the same.
He doesn't. He's the reason. Some of the reason why we're like out of some games. Like he puts us out of games rather than puts us in the games, and I don't see why we extended him. Like, I don't get it.
Yeah, and it's different when we talked about some of these other guys who have such a small body of work, and we don't want to say, well, this guy should be on the team or this guy should not be on the team based on one game or a half of a game. With Dustin Hopkins, you've seen it for 5 years. You know what he is, and he's not bad. He's not terrible, but he's not really good. He's like Fitzpatrick. He's like right in the middle. He's just average. And that's probably not going to
decidedly mediocre.
Yeah, it's decidedly mediocre. Yeah, that's right.
There you go. I mean, I just don't get it. I don't. And I don't care. I don't want to hear we have a new long snapper. I don't want to hear that. That's not an excuse.
Yeah, you go back to the first field goal that he missed. I watched that again, and everything looked perfect. There was no timing issue. He didn't stutter or anything. The snap was fine. The hold was fine. He just missed it. It wasn't a timing. It wasn't a new guy thing.
No, Fitzpatrick's going to put us in a position in games where it's going to come down to the kicking game, and it's going to be overlooked because of the missed field goal. I don't want to go through that this year. So, hey, Ron, you got 2 more games. 1 more game, bro. 1 more. You should be bringing in auditions this week.
Yeah, you think that's going to happen? I heard they're going to bring in quarterbacks and kickers this week. They're not bringing in quarterbacks, and I don't think they're bringing in kickers either.
They need to bring in at least 1 kicker. You got to. Right. Put some pressure on D-Hop. Let him know that this is real. You're not. If
you're trying to break in a new rookie, you might as well try to break in a new kicker.
Yep.
I did. The second one, there were some issues, and that's what Coach says. They got to work that out. They got to work out the timing. You saw Hopkins talking to Way on the way back to the sidelines. So yeah, they're going to talk that through. My thing is they were doing that all through camp. Why hasn't the timing been done? Is it?
It was because it was raining, Nathan.
Yeah. Then someone better sit out there with a dang on hose and just be pouring it on shower wise. I will take leave from work to be that guy.
Too.
All right. I will literally sit out there, and you can give me a hand pump one, and I'll just do it with a hand pump too. Yes. I'll be out there doing that if that's what you want or need for your team.
That's a GIF. I'm totally gonna make that a GIF. That little hand pumping thing you were doing there. A GIF, sorry.
A GIF. All right, let's get into our go-goes and no-goes.
Yes.
This is the segment of the show here where we will go over who we liked and who we didn't like. Trevor, hit us with your first go-go.
My first go-go, I'm going to piggyback. I'm actually have 2, if that's okay, 2 ties. I have Sam Cosmi, and I also have Jarrett Patterson, of course. I'm not just saying that because of everybody else's, but he literally was the best running back outside of Antonio Gibson that got touches last night. Peyton Barber trimmed down, but I think his job is in trouble. Jarrett Patterson just made it. That was a statement game to let people know that he's here and ready to do. And Sam Cosmi, like you, piggyback off you, so Sam Cosmi looks like he is. He's ready. I think he can. I think he's ready to go. Honestly, that, he was tossed around guys. He was blocking guys. He provided a clean pocket for Ryan Fitzpatrick to step up and make a nice throw to, I think, Terry McLaurin that one play. And so, yeah, I'm gonna go with those 2 as my go-goes.
Remember Morgan Moses' first game at right tackle? Yes. How terrible he was.
Oh,
so
this is he was a turnstile.
Yeah, obviously.
Sam Cosmi had one of those last night. He did have one.
But he's a rookie. They're gonna happen. Yeah. It's gonna happen. Now I want to before I get to Stoner's go-goes, I need to hear about this head shaking on Patterson because I'm with you, Trevor. The guy looked good, and I don't like. Practice squad it might be likely, but the dude's catching the ball, the dude's running the ball, the dude's making people miss. It doesn't matter if it's second, third string. He looks like he's going to make some people miss on the first string, and he looks a lot more dynamic than Barber, who again was stuffed short. And I know someone missed a block is what I was told. Okay, I don't care. You know what happens with if someone misses a block and you have a good back there. Yeah, they make them miss, and they make those yards anyways.
Well, that's
Barber, you miss that block, and you end up short of the line.
Yeah, that's true. Derrick Henry's never had a play for a loss. That's true. So when he's had bad blocking, he's never been stopped behind the line. That's true.
That's a bit of an exaggeration of what I said. Old man glasses are on.
Okay, my head was shaking on Patterson because it was not against Patterson. It was for Barber, because Barber is a very good third running back. So again,
let's look at that qualifier again. Hold on. Let's address the qualifier. You said he's a very good.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Very good meaning above average.
Yes, for a third
That is
running back.
wrong. I need you to back that up with statistics the
better
next
in
time you
Tampa.
come on this show.
Okay, so he has the pedigree. He has the proof. Listen. You're making declarative
Come at me
statements
when he
off of a
scores
half-
8 touchdowns in one game.
Come on, it's Buffalo against I don't know, Northwest Sarasota College junior people.
I don't care. It's 8 touchdowns, bro.
Okay, that's impressive. It's not against Patterson. It's saying Barber's not leaving that third spot.
I think they might want a veteran in there,
Yes.
and I do think that in that case, and here's the thing, is we've seen this before with undrafted free agent rookie running backs or even late round rookie running backs where they impress during the preseason. They're the district diamond, and I do think Patterson's going to be this year's district diamond for the preseason. And then they get stashed on the practice squad, and we might not see them again. It's quite possible that's what's going to happen with Patterson. But I don't know, man. When he stopped on a dime and made that dude miss,
it was impressive.
Everybody was just like, "Woo!"
Yeah. So you mean when he stopped on a dime and made that guy who's going to be working at FedEx next week miss?
You
Okay,
stop it.
good move.
He's in the league for a reason. He got there for a reason.
Right. But he's not going to be on a roster in a couple of weeks. So.
All
right.
All right, let's get to your go-go's. Who are your go-go's?
And sometimes these things work themselves out because, don't kill me, because somebody might get hurt. Maybe a Barber gets hurt or something. Right? I said Barber.
Trevor,
I said
every
RB3.
time.
Say like
RB3.
Unless something like somebody needs to be called upon. Just say that.
Okay. All right. So we already talked about De'Ami Brown, and we talked about Cosme, how those guys really popped. And some of the guys that really didn't get a whole lot of run necessarily that popped were Jonathan Allen. I was watching Jonathan Allen on every play. Every single play, and I can't back this up with 100% proof, but I believe every single play he was double teamed. Every single time. And there was one time he was triple teamed. And I'm like, oh my God, they are trying to kill Jonathan Allen out there. So I think that's good because obviously it frees up the other guys to make plays and all that. Jonathan Allen was really good. That's not a surprise. Gibson looked healthy. He looked quick.
Yes.
There was the one play where he missed on that pass from Fitzpatrick out of the backfield because he stopped for some reason, and Fitzpatrick thought he was going to keep going past the Matthew Judon who was covering him, and if he had, he might still be running. But I thought he looked very healthy. Quick, everything that you'd hope. He looked good. And I think the last one, I did like the way Fitz was in control of the offense. You had some of those close-ups on him when he was coming up to the line. Doesn't have a mouth guard. He's chewing gum.
He's got his wedding ring on.
Real
like
wedding
a real
ring.
wedding ring, not like a rubber band one. Like a real.
And he's just out there looking around. And that's good. That's what you get from a 17-year vet, right? He's been there. He's faced all
and he
this.
got rocked too. He got rocked one play.
So those are a lot of my go-go's. I was impressed with a lot, and they got beat 22-13, which, by the way, was almost my exact prediction.
I know it was. It was.
Was it the exact?
I said no. I said almost. I said
almost.
27.
Okay, I was like, if it's exact, dude, I need little lotto numbers, man.
But I thought the offense, even though the first string guys and even some of the second string guys, I thought they looked good. I thought they looked in rhythm. They didn't have a lot of the dumb penalties that you see quite often. They didn't have any false starts. They did have to call a timeout one time, but that was the play that they thought they were going to review, and they took too long. That was
Montez as well. So.
Yeah. Oh, okay. But so they didn't have a lot of those dumb things that you used to see from these undisciplined coaches that we've had in the past, where they're not getting up to the line in time and having to call timeout, and guys are not in the right place, and no false starts. No, I think they had one defensive holding on Jackson or something, right? I thought they looked good. The first squad, the first teamers on both sides of the ball, I thought looked really good, and I was very impressed with how good they looked.
Well, I mean, you guys took most of the go-go's, so I'm going to highlight two more of our rookies here. I really thought Bates looked pretty good out there.
Mm-hmm.
So he's a known blocker. He did look a little rigid. I noticed that when they kind of showed him, he was very rigid, but he got the job done for the block. And then when he caught that one pass, I was hoping for a few more, but the one for 19 yards, some good body control, and made a good catch. So I thought Bates looked pretty good. And Benjamin St-Juste, for a guy that nobody knew, no fan really knew who the heck he was when he was drafted, looked fairly decent.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to say he looked great, but he looked respectable for a rookie and somebody who allows Fuller to move inside and play to Fuller's strength. So hopefully that'll be the case, because who wasn't looking good? We got a bunch of no-goes here.
No-goes.
Hopkins is going to be at the top of the list, so
sure.
we're going to get him taken off the no-go list. Trapkey, your boy there, Trevor, didn't end up with the interception.
He didn't. He shines on special teams. They're going to keep him on special teams.
I will say this: they did have him on the starting special teams for that kickoff, so he might be there. Another no-go that we're going to cross off the list right now is Hemingway.
Yeah, sure.
We talked about him extensively. Had a horrible
He's not
game.
making the 85.
He's 100% making 80. They're cutting 5 guys, and he's going to be one of them. No, he's not. 100% he's not. Sorry.
All right, Trevor. Let's hear who.
My no-goes?
Yeah, let's hear about your no-goes, because we've already talked enough about Hemingway and his lack of ability to be on the final 53 or 85.
The entire linebacking core outside of John Bostic, Cole Holcomb, and Jamin Davis. Our depth at linebacker is atrocious. David Mayo was slow. He was getting tossed around left and right. Joe Walker, get him out of there. Get cool Joe Walker. He doesn't even look like a linebacker. Get him out of there. Kuzniak, or however you say his name, he's okay, but he's special teams, and Norris is special teams. We need some help at linebacker, because we were getting destroyed over the middle.
Yeah.
Destroyed.
So
that's a problem.
That Januzak or Jusak or whatever his name is, he tucks his jersey in like really tight, and it just looks really weird. I noticed that. I don't look for that stuff, but I was like, why does he tuck his jersey in so tight?
Because that's about the only way you're going to notice him. Is probably the reason.
Yeah.
When that Stevenson running back ran for the 91-yard touchdown, I know it's preseason, but still, our linebacking core was gassed by the time he hit the 50. It was atrocious. That needs serious help. Serious help. Because if somebody needs to be called upon, we're going to get eaten alive.
There we go, Trevor. That's how we do it. That's how we do it.
We're going to be eaten alive, and I don't want that to happen. And John Bostic is not even.
I know you both hate Bostic. That's okay.
Because you brought up Bostic, because you said him in the part you're like the no-goes linebacking core outside of Bostic, Holcomb, and Jamin Davis.
Only reason why I said it.
I just want to note, if we had a decidedly mediocre camp like here, so we were having our go-goes and our no-goes, decidedly mediocre is John Bostic. He is this season's definition of decidedly mediocre. I don't want to see him on the field. When they went to the nickel, where it was Bostic and Holcomb out there, I was like, why? Why are we doing this? He looks. You talked about Mayo looking slow. Bostic was always behind the play.
He overplays the tackle all the time. Like, he misses tackle. Great communicator. He can call out the defense great. He can lead, he's good at that. But when it comes to
call it out from the sidelines, Bostic. Call it from the sidelines.
Or maybe he can call it from the field there. Like, he can call it from the field and then take off to the side.
I mean, you said, Stunner, he's gonna have to do, because outside of him, I'm not putting anybody else up there with Holcomb and Jamin Davis. So.
Yeah.
Hudson still has flashes, but he's not quite where you want him to be. He's a tweener, and I I think that honestly he can be the weak side linebacker when they do have the 3 in there, just because he can do. He's a bit quicker. He's younger. Like I said, he's a tweener, almost like a large safety to be out there. But yeah, on the 2 linebacker sets, if by the mid-season we still have Bostic in there with the 2 linebackers, I'm going to cry. So, all right, Stoner, who's your no-goes?
All right, you know what? Who we missed on the go-goes, which was an obvious one that you just assume he's always going to be on the go-goes, and that was Chase, right?
Chase and Terry McLaurin looked great. Logan Thomas looked good in his limited time. I know my wife is going to hate me for bringing that one up.
Yeah.
But I don't think, like, when we're talking about, these guys saw 2 series of plays, right? So we should be highlighting the go-goes should be people who've played extensively.
All right, so the no-goes, all those we talked about already. Tressway was not good. What happened? He was kicking him in the end zone. He was kicking him short. I don't know.
I don't think raining is the thing. I think he mailed it in. I think he just mailed it in.
Well,
he wasn't.
He doesn't need to prove anything.
No, he doesn't. But in this particular game, he was a no-go. He was just not that good. Sorry, he wasn't.
Dude.
That's fair.
Well, he wasn't good.
I think our standards are really set really high for him. I think our standards are set that he's going to be a coffin corner. Pin him at the 5 every single time. And he didn't do that, and so that's why we're saying he's a no-go. Our expectations is this guy is the closest you're going to see to a 100 rating on Madden for a punter, and he's like yesterday he was like an 85.
Yeah, it's okay.
Okay, I'm just saying for this game, I'm not saying you should cut him like you guys.
How many punt return yards did they get?
I have no idea.
I don't think they got that.
I really don't think out of the times they punted, even when it was inbounds, he did have one kind of pooch punt that I wasn't, and then actually that worked out in our favor because the Patriots player decided to try to chase it down for whatever reason.
Right.
That was like the shortest punt he had, and the ball just kept rolling for him.
But he kicked 2 into the end zone, right into the middle of the end zone, which he just doesn't do that normally.
Yeah, you're right.
And he had that.
That's my next jersey, man. Tressway's my next jersey. You can't be talking bad about him.
And he also had another one that was just very returnable. And wasn't it last year when he had like 2 punts all year that were returned, something like that?
Yeah.
He's either getting a fair catch or, like you said, he's putting it in the corner. So
and
look,
still
I'm not
robbed
killing the guy. I'm just saying,
of accolades,
no-go.
by the way. Still robbed of accolades after having the amazing years.
Yeah, he was awesome. Charles Leno, I thought, struggled. He had a lot of plays to where he missed some blocks on that one Barber 3rd down and short. He completely whiffed on the block, and that's the guy who made the play. He had the play. He was the guy protecting Fitz when Fitz got pummeled. And I believe, you have to check me on this, but he might have been the guy who got Heineke sacked, the one sack that they gave up. Well,
that was
double check that. That might not have been him, but he was kind of uneven. He had some good plays, but he had a lot of plays that weren't so great. And the NBC Sports Washington production crew was definitely in preseason form. Cameras going all over the place.
I almost made a tweet about that when they moved jerked the camera. I was like, it's preseason for these guys too.
Yeah. And they weren't catching the starts of plays, and they were talking. God love him, he's a legend for this franchise. But Joey T, I don't want to hear anything about New England. Okay, this is not a national telecast. This is NBC Sports Washington.
Yes.
Tell us everything about NBC Sports Washington, please.
Yes.
Nothing about anybody else.
It's not
precisely
being so
why we're not going to. Yeah, precisely why we won't be bringing up Cam Newton or Mac Jones on this one. Yeah. We don't care. That's for the New England podcasters to do.
That's right.
So they can talk about them. I'm going to give us one more no-go here, and that was Isaiah Wright.
Oh yeah,
Who?
Gone.
Gone. He did not do himself any favors last night. He's already one that's been kind of at the end of this competitive wide receiver group, and he just didn't look good. It looked like he might have injured himself. I haven't heard anything about that today, whether or not he did in fact injure himself. But
he injured himself.
Isaiah Wright is
I
going
have
to be
another
bye-bye.
no-go. Our tackling was a no-go, all across the board.
But you can say that, like, if you looked at it from the New England side, like we say we're not going to do, but if you look at it from the New England side, they had a lot of missed tackles too. This is the first time they've really been tackling for real since the end of last year. So you kind of you say that's where it's really okay to say it's preseason. Those are the kinds of things that will get a little bit better as you go along as the tackling. But you're right, tackling was not great, but it wasn't great on the other side either. Ask that guy that Patterson swooped on by.
Yeah, no joke.
Yeah,
no joke.
All right. Well, why don't we wrap up today's show with Dollar Dollar?
Yeah.
Let's look at the board. Let's see where our money went, and who's buying the next round of beers here. That's
probably me.
A little bit here.
All right. So the first one is Nathan said that any Washington receiver would have more than 61 yards. And I said that doesn't usually happen in the preseason, so there's no chance. So nobody even came close to that.
I was hoping there was going to be a breakout play like De'Ami Brown or Terry McLaurin, who are just going to be streaking down 80 yards, touchdown, done. Okay, good to go. Didn't happen.
That doesn't usually happen in preseason. So Nathan
doesn't usually happen. 91-yard touchdown run.
Yard touchdown
no, I mean,
you
know what I mean.
Yeah, doesn't happen. Yeah. Okay.
All right. Trevor said Lamar Miller was going to have 2+ touchdowns. You owe Nathan and I both on that one. He did have one. I'm
telling you, I was looking at the clock. I was just like, there's like 1 minute 53 seconds. We'll see if it happens.
Isn't that 50 cents a piece then I owe you since I got half of it right?
No, sir. I think you're misunderstanding the name of this. It's Dollar, not 50 cent, 50 cent. All right. So let's see. So then the next one was Nathan said that Bates is going to have the most receiving yards of all the tight ends. No chance. That didn't happen either.
No chance. He was like 5 yards short, and he had one catch compared to the 2 catches for the other guys. So.
Okay, so he was the third leading receiver for tight ends. No chance. All right. The next one was I said that Bates would have 0 receptions.
Yeah.
So close to that. He had 1. Ooh.
We got one 19-yarder. He had, if he would have had one more, he would have been the top tight end. You tell me no chance.
So I
had more catches.
So I have to pay both Nathan and Trev on that one. Then down at the bottom, Jazzy popped into our live chat and she said Logan Thomas would have 2+ drops, and I think Nathan said it very well that he's not even going to be in the game long enough to get 2 targets. And that was correct. He only got 1 target, and he grabbed it. So Jazzy owes both Nathan and the Stoner $1. And then the last one was Trev
I don't get
said
$1 from that?
No, you were not on that one.
Oh, dang.
No, you didn't jump in on that because
gotta play to win. Gotta play to win.
I looked back at it and I think Trev was like, he was so focused on getting his next bet out there that he was like, no, I don't want any of that.
He was so certain about his bet too.
Yeah. So he said Apke was going to get a pick, and both Nathan and I said no chance, and I don't even know if he was even out there.
I'm riding on that for the rest of preseason. I'm riding on that for the rest of preseason.
So that's the $1. I went 5-1. I just missed going 6-0 by that one catch from Bates.
Just barely, yeah.
Nathan went 4-2, and I think Trev went 2-2, and Jazzy went 0-1. There you go. That's the $1 segment.
500's good. 500's good.
We'll be keeping track of the dollars as they go along, seeing our pluses and minuses, and it's all for fun and games. We won't really make each other pay because I really don't want to have to take money away from Trevor. He'll just have to buy me a beer when we're at the game. Which, Trevor, you and I, we're there next week, right?
Yes, sir.
Yep. So we'll be at the game on Friday. Thursday night we'll be streaming here on our YouTube channel, and we'll post that to Buzzsprout as well. That'll be our standard Ref the District show. Keep with us at Ref the District on Twitter to find out exactly what we'll be talking about by then. I'll give you a little spoiler. The game will be about the second preseason game. We'll see if there's anything to talk about with the Washington Wizards or the Nationals. I do have a polo, Nationals polo hidden under here, which... Yeah. I've told my wife it's downpouring. I was just like, I need you to take video of me standing outside in this polo with the rain just coming down, because this is how I feel ever since they traded Trey Turner.
Yes.
So we'll talk more about that when it comes to Ref the District on Thursday. This is Day After Reckoning, and this will be a standard throughout the season. You will find us Saturday doing this show on Saturday, because it's the game's on Friday, right?
Yep.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Sorry. Just space there. So catch us on the YouTube channel, Ref the District. You can catch us wherever your podcasts are found. I'm Nathan. He's the Stoner. And that's Trevor. And we're Ref the District.
We love Washington, and we some die-hard fans. Yeah, we are. And you know we keep it on 10. Let's talk about the offense. 1, 2, 3, let's go.
And they gifted.
We are
Nathan and the Stoner. Yeah, that's Ref the District.
Oh, that's the podcast.
Come on now and join us.
Join it.